Joel's asked, Henry, how do you strike a balance between where have you gone? How do you strike a balance between empowering running a cafe versus support? I don't know how to run a cafe.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we don't just throw people in and say who've got no experience or no training or anything and say, hey, run the cafe. But it isn't the manager. We don't say it's the manager's role to teach somebody how to do something. We give people training. We give them support. The manager's role is to provide support through coaching. Yeah. And it's somebody, it may be the manager who's the best person on the cafe, it may be a mentor, maybe somebody else. But it's very rarely the manager who actually knows best on something. So, yeah, so we give them full support, full training, clear guidelines, and then leave them to it. Does that make sense?
So, question down here from Anonymous. What does flexible work look like in operational non-desk workplaces, i.e. hotels, hospitality, restaurants, retail? Isn't the future leaving them behind? Open to anyone? Anyone want to put their hand up and answer that one?
This isn't an area that we do a lot within the flexible working space, but I've got a friend who I met yesterday for lunch, and she works for TimeWise, who's a recruitment company specialised in flexible working, and her biggest client at the moment is Primark and Superdrug. So I think they're looking mostly at desk-based staff initially, but they're moving up into floor staff as well. So it's about flexible hours and things like that. It's not just about working remotely. So I think they are embracing it, but it's just slightly different beast.
Okay.
Just wanted to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something to add to that. I get staggered in my working time and beyond at the number of organisations in the hospitality sector who don't spend any time on making sure they're actually recruiting the right people. So they suck them in, throw a net in the sea, and anyone they grab, they drag in. And you start with people who don't want to be in that place in the first place. And it's downhill from there. So the companies that lead the way in the hospitality sector invest a lot of time and money and effort in identifying people who fit with the industry. And when they've got them, they're there and they're motivated, and there's careers and stuff like that involved in it. But they'd rather not fill a job if they haven't got the right person for it, whereas most companies will fill the job because of the warm body. And I think it becomes self-fulfilling. If you've got that happening, you've got high turnover, unhappy people who don't want to serve customers. And so spend time at the front end and make it attractive, hire the right people.
Yeah, I think it's got something to add to that.
Yeah, there's some really good university research being done by Cardiff University, and they've studied kind of job shares and stuff with people like the DVLA, so where people have been able to either sit in call centres or manage reception desks, and their research is showing that actually we're just trusting people to manage the rotas and the cover themselves, and in a great deal of examples it's actually happening, and people are just happily to manage it. I think the illusion with flexible work is, and I hear it all the time, it won't work in my organisation or for the jobs that my company does, and I think it's, for most people, it's just an old way of thinking that you need to shake off. PwC now recruit people, and during the recruitment process they will ask, what hours do you want to work, and if they found the right person, they'll just make that work.
A question for all of you really. What advice have you got for people that are here or live streaming that encounter human barriers, as in they understand the data behind this, they get where the future's going, but there's major blockers in their organisation? Has anyone, other than like chucking their desk at them, has anyone got any constructive advice that could be useful? Henry?
Okay, I mean, if you've got a terrible manager, maybe you do have to leave. But I'll give one example from one of our colleagues went to their finance director and said, I've got this plan to create a happy workplace. And the finance director kind of laughed and said, what? No, why do I want a happy workplace? I want you to achieve A, B, and C. So my colleague said, oh, okay. So if I achieve A, B, and C, I can do whatever I want. He said, fine, yeah, if you give me A, B, and C, you can have whatever you like. And so he did. He created a happy workplace. It produced A, B, and C. The finance director was happy. So the key point is managers want particular things normally. Yes, there are some hellish micromanagers who you just have to get away from. But most senior people in organisations want the results. If you can produce the results, and these are the best ways to produce the results, then they'll be happy.
Matt, can I just add to that?
Yeah.
In my experience of various places that I've worked and clients that we've been speaking to, a lot of this comes down to emotional intelligence. So it's around taking baby steps. Not everybody is ready to change at the same time. And it's about trying to help support those people through that change by making it at a personal level it makes a really big difference. So I'm just going to share a story with us. I hope, I can't see him here, hopefully you won't mind me sharing this with you, but there is a guy that we work with. We've made a transition over. I can see him now. We've made a transition over to Gmail and G Suite, and some people have adopted that quicker than others. But the baby step has been we use a plugin. There is an Outlook plugin that makes it look and feel like it's Outlook, but it's running off of Gmail. And one day, Chris, I'm looking at you right now. One day we will take that. We will help you move into that world where that plugin doesn't need to be there. But not everybody's going to be changed at the same time. And go through that journey. So it's about helping some people go through that.
I mean, I've run companies through like the 2008 depression and Brexit, and there's been nothing harder than a Gmail Outlook debate, is there? It's been brutal. I'm just going to leave Jenna with the last word because everyone wants food. Jenna, what do you do? We spoke a lot about identifying mental fitness in yourself, but what if no one's really trained on this stuff, is there? What do you do if you're just noticing one of your team, they're not the same, your story but the reverse? What any advice for people that because you were lucky, you had a friend who said go to the doctor, like any advice for that, Jenna?
I mean, I think the first thing to do is kind of acknowledge it and empower the person. I think we're in a culture right now, especially because we're talking about mental health and mental well-being, is like, how do we take care of these people? What are we going to do to make those people feel better? And like, I'm you people, like I'm the same, we're all the same. So I think it's about speaking about it in an empowering way and saying, hey, yo, this seems to be going a bit wrong, but that's okay, because stuff goes wrong. What should we do to fix it? Or what can I do to help you? And talk about it in a proactive way, and offer up, your own personal insights. We're all intelligent humans. We actually do know quite a lot about how to take care of ourselves. We just don't really do it very often. So I say the first thing to do is go and speak to that person and empower them, as opposed to patronise and baby them, I guess, if that makes sense.
That's great. Chris Hyland's saying we've got time for 2 more questions, but I can actually see your faces and I think you need lunch. So lunch is on for an hour. The photo booth's at the back there if you want to have a bit of fun with that, but just go and chill. And if some of these guys are sticking around. Also, one last thing. Have we paid any of these guys to be here, Chris? Cool. So if we could just do a massive round of applause because these guys are amazing. They've given up their time.